Hello everyone, my name is Ola and this is Ola's Thoughts from Her Corporate World. So today on Ola's Thoughts from Her Corporate World, I'll be sharing with you the short steps or the legally recognized steps to become the rightfully recognized owner of a property in Lagos. Okay, so before we go on, please, I don't know, have you subscribed? Please do subscribe and possibly turn on the notification bell so that whenever I put out very useful videos like this, you'll be the first to be informed. Remember to like, comment, and please share this video. So let's go. Okay, so in the past 15, 10, 5 years, there's been this boom of real estate firms, in Lagos. Real estate firms, the setting up of them, establishment of real estate firms. I've worked with a couple, so I know this. And also ancillary companies, brokerage firms, mortgage, and investment banks. And you're wondering what's going on. Well, the converse understanding is that there are people buying land, right? Because when one business is doing well and people can see that the business is doing well, what happens? People will rush, they put their head there too. So that's what has been happening in that aspect of the society or the economy. Yes, real estate has been on the rise and it's being bought up. And there's even another angle to it. With the steady decline of the naira, which also means the increase in foreign currency, a lot of Nigerians in diaspora have been making a kill. They've been keying into this, taking advantage of it and buying up property all over Nigeria, especially in Lagos, Lekki, Ibeju-Lekki, Ikorodu, and all those places, buying up all sorts of property. But is it just about just buying the property and looking lucrative, just looking at it? Is that where it ends? Not, of course not. Of course not. That's not where it should end. So today we're going to be understanding better what actually makes you feel secure for yourself, for your children's children, for later years to come, for future investments, reselling, whatever it is, establishing something on it. We want to know what actually makes you that rightful owner of the property. So here goes. I want to pick some scenarios, all right? Let's paint some scenarios. So scenario 1, Mr. A buys a property from a family or money landowners, and he's issued a family receipt, sales receipt, and says, we will give you other things later. Scenario 2, Mr. A buys from a real estate firm and is issued a sales receipt and a contract of sale. Now I understand that with some of these land transactions or property transactions, payment is spread, because of, I get to pay for this, take a breather, pay for that and all that. So payment is spread. So the issuing of the contract of sale is fine. But then Mr. A goes home saying, I'm good. Even if I don't show up in the next 1 million years, hey, I'm good. Or let's even paint another scenario. Okay, so Mr. A bought the property, got all the documents he was supposed to get to, aside the sales receipt and the contract of sale. He got all these documents, and then like some years later, his children want to sell. Let's say 15 years later, his children want to sell, or even 30 years later. And the search reports, the feedback on the search report is that no, it's not Mr. A that owns this property. It's not him. It's Mr. Y. And the children are flabbergasted. They're like, how come? Now tell me, reason these things out. Do you think these people actually had rightful ownership to that property? Okay, we'll come to this. Okay, so what makes you actually the rightful owner of a property? The absence of a conveyancing document tells you that you don't own the property. What do I mean by a conveyancing document? A document that transfers title from the vendor or seller to the purchaser or buyer. Yes. Now, it doesn't matter how much a contract of sale is loaded with clauses that should be in a deed of assignment. It doesn't matter. You can load all sorts of clauses from the deed of assignment. A contract of sale is not recognized by law as a transferable or a document that transfers title. No. Sorry, if you're hearing one small boy's voice, that's my son. Okay, so it's not recognized as a document that transfers title. So what you need to have is what? Either a deed of assignment or a deed of conveyance. Yes. Those two documents, especially within Lagos and its some of the environments, these are the documents that pass title. You must get from the vendor or the seller a conveyancing document, your deed or the deed of conveyance or deed of assignment. Yeah. Okay, then that's it. Then you must have from the purchaser a signed Form 1C. Yeah, a signed Form 1C. Now, Form 1C is part of the application. Is the application process for your perfection or registration. You need it, and it contains several information, including a portion for a signature of the applicant for a registration and the grantor, yeah, the person who is passing title. Now, it's important that you obtain this Form 1C at the point of concluding the transaction. Why so? Because in the future, it's possible that when you now need to perfect that, you may not be ready after you just bought the property. You may want to take a breather or sort things out before you proceed with perfection. So it's important that you obtain this form at the time you're buying the property, so that in the future, just in case you can no longer find this seller, you can proceed with what you need to do. You already have his details, you already have his signature there, and that's all they really need on his part from there. So it's important that you get it. It's also important that you have a survey plan. A survey plan in your name, usually to mark out that portion of property. A survey plan has to be drawn. If the survey plan is in the name of the vendor, it's not yours. It has to be in your name. Now, at this point, I have to state something really important. Something really important. Now, there are all sorts of surveyors in Lagos. Some are registered, some are not registered. It's important that it is a registered surveyor of Lagos State that prepares your survey plan. That way, he will be able to lodge it. Now, this lodgement, I can't overemphasize it. So let's move to the list of requirements for perfection. One, you must have 4 deeds of assignment, 4 copies of your deeds of assignment alongside the survey plan. Each deed of assignment will have a survey plan alongside. You must have your Form 1C, a passport photograph of the vendor, of the purchaser, tax clearance from both parties to the transaction. Certain fees will need to be paid, charting fees, endorsement fee, the original title documents of the property from the previous owners, and then the application letter by the surveyor, by the solicitor on behalf of the client. Okay, so before you proceed with perfection or carrying out this process, it's important that you sit down to count the cost, right? So, but it's possible to do this if you have access to the way the assessment is measured, and these calculations are readily available. You're going to be paying consent. Is broken down into consent fee, registration, capital gains, stamp duties, and in some cases neighborhood improvement charge. Now for consent fee is 1.5% of consideration. Stamp duties, capital gains, and registration are 0.5% of consideration. So when you have that, then it gives you a fair idea of what your perfection process is going to cost. Now remember, it's always better to pay the make the right payment to Lagos State government and not cut corners with the officials who handle the processing. The benefit of perfection is this. Now remember the scenario we painted about Mr. A and his kids, where several years down the line they realized that they weren't rightful owners. That's because perfection was not carried out. So someone else in the course of things must have bought the property without their knowledge and proceeded to registration. So registration enables you to secure your position as the title holder to the property. It enables you to have access to loans. You can take loans based on that property because it's registered in your name. You can take use the property for investments, to make any engagement, because once they see that you have collateral, to fall back on, you're more trustworthy, right? These are many more, and then you make a good investment for your future generations. So these, and I could go on and on and on about the advantages. So these are the advantages of registration. So I think I'll end it here, right? So till I come your way next time, remember, this is Ola Stuff from a Corporate World. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and I'll see you in my next video. But in the meanwhile, remember to find your happiness. Bye for now.